Welcome everyone back to the Limitless Leaders Lounge. Today we gather here in the spirit of limitless leadership, where wisdom meets innovation and experience fuels transformation. It is my absolute honor to introduce a pioneer, a mentor, and a global educator whose impact has transcended borders for over 4 decades. Dr. Cary is not just an educator, he is a trailblazer who has dedicated 44 years to shaping the future of learning. And as the president of the Global Pioneers and the International Educators Association, he has championed education that goes beyond textbooks, emphasizing global collaboration, inclusivity, and innovation. His work has empowered students, educators, and changemakers across the world, proving that education is not just about knowledge, it is about transformation. He also leads a US-based nonprofit. Dr. Cary has been at the forefront of initiatives that break barriers and build bridges in education. He has not only witnessed the evolution of learning systems, but has actively shaped them, advocating for equity across cultural, across different cultures and understanding and leadership development. So, as we sit here in this dynamic space of the Limitless Leaders Lounge, we are absolutely privileged to learn from a leader whose vision is as vast as his experience. Whether you are an educator, an entrepreneur, or a change maker, you are about to be inspired by someone who truly embodies what it means to be limitless. So, without further ado, please do join me in welcoming a global pioneer and educator and a true force for good. Dr. Cary, welcome and thank you for being here with us today. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know I've said quite a lot already, but let's hear it straight from your mouth yourself.
Well, thank you, Dr. Leticia, and I love this platform. I think it's absolutely needed. It's fantastic. It's showcasing various leadership leaders and what they're doing around the world is brilliant, as especially for our younger people, as it may inspire others to greatness. And so it's a wonderful message and a wonderful platform. My hat's off to you for doing this.
Thank
And
you.
now, to answer the question, I think what you asked me was a little bit more about myself. Is that right?
That's correct, yes, and your works.
So, well, I've been an educator, humanitarian, um, and many, many other things, business consultant, business owner, trained counselor. Um, Somebody in today's world might say mental health specialist, but I think that word is a little bit confused with other subjects. So I'll just say I'm a very highly trained counselor. And that could be a basis for so much other success that I've had, is to understand the human condition, stress, relationships. It falls into so many categories, including even running a company. That kind of training, or being a parent, even, for example, that kind of training and knowledge, and even more so skill development, is crucial if you want to be a change maker, or in another way of putting it, improving conditions that you are surrounded by. And
Mm.
I've definitely spent my life, a good part of my life, um, enhancing my own understanding, knowledge, and even more so developing skill, so I can not just help myself, raise my family, improve the companies I've been running, but to lend a hand to people around the world, groups, leaders, and I've just spent quite a bit of time working with different governments, education
Wow.
system, teachers, and so forth. So the summary would be anything that I can do to improve the conditions on planet Earth, country by country, working with community leaders, religious leaders, etc. Um, not just talking about that. I'm actively doing that quite a bit on a daily basis. But a couple more things about me real quick. I'm also a musician. I'm a drummer and a singer.
Wow. Wow.
I have a rock and roll band in Florida here where I live. And I've had many rock and roll bands over the years, but the one I have right now, we've had since 2007. And
Wow.
we perform, which is really an amazing actual situation. We perform and use our music for positive things, positive programs. We played in front of the Lincoln Memorial all day concert during the Cherry Blossom Festival, which is the biggest event of the year in DC. And we performed for thousands and thousands. And I actually arranged the whole concert, but it was a great, great experience to play in front of the Lincoln Memorial where that movie Forrest Gump. I mean, I remember I'm
Oh,
like
is it
playing it,
there?
and I'm just looking at that water all the way down to the monument.
That is fascinating.
And I kept seeing Forrest Gump's girlfriend running out of the water, yelling, "Forrest, Forrest!" But there's many iconic things happened in the very place where we played. Martin Luther King spoke, and it was just iconic. And it was I would have put that on a bucket list item somewhere.
Mm, mm.
So we use our music to spread good messages. We went to Israel. We not only traveled 6,000 miles throughout Israel and very close to Palestine and Jordan, performing, but also sending a goodwill message, whether it's drug education, promoting our drug-free programs, or human rights, promoting the human rights program we have, and we're actually partnering, we are nonprofit and partnering organizations are working together with like-minded purposes to deal with different situations in society. And for example, I think I've worked
Well,
probably easily with 30 governments
you've obviously
on
had
bringing.
a very extensive career, Dr. Cary, and so profound. Wow. I don't know how you manage, but just tell us, Dr. Cary, looking back on your remarkable career, what would you say are the things you're most proud of, and what legacy do you want to leave behind in this field?
Oh, that's a really insightful and a very important question. I have way too many life-changing stories to share. It's hard to pick from. I'd say some of the more recent ones is helping somebody who was suicidal not be suicidal.
Wow.
And that was a 14-year-old girl that was going to take her own life, came to my workshop, changed her mind, and she's now come to 35 of my webinars. And
Wow.
she's only 14 years old.
That is phenomenal.
Very proud of that girl's come out of the darkest place
Mm.
into in control of her emotions, doing great in school, dealing with the bullying and the lack of friendships that she's struggled with, trouble at home. Girl was surrounded by some pretty not good things. So I've had a few highlights. What was your question again? Which is my most memorable?
Yes, well,
Sorry,
yeah, what
I
were
got
your
lost
most,
in thought.
yeah. Well, that was clearly a very memorable one. It was the first thing that
I
popped in mind. But what legacy would you want to leave behind?
well, it's all about inspiring and training others.
Mm.
When you die, God help us, but when you die, you don't take your bank account, you
Mm.
don't take your friendships, you don't take all your physical possessions. And so it's a great concept to say, what do I want to leave behind? And I'd say the most important thing I could do and have been doing is to get others to be more capable of handling life, not just their own personal life or their own mental and physical ability, but be able to help their community, help their country, um, be effective, be a living, breathing force. And especially our young people, where they're being surrounded by drugs, bad behavior, poor examples of leadership, poor examples even in business, family, any way you can think of, very poor examples of this.
Mm.
That I've taken it upon, it's based on observation and experience. I've taken it upon myself to concentrate as much as I can on youth leadership and youth leadership programs, developing youth leadership programs.
And
And
essentially, you're changing the world. Because if you can change the youth, you can change the world.
with, I mean, there is no, the future is what we make. I often tell people, if you don't like what's happening around you,
Mm.
then rather than complain about it or sit and watch or ignore or participate in that, find good, workable, powerful resources.
Mm.
And if you are lucky enough to have capable knowledge that works, technology tools that work, methods that work, if you are
Mm.
lucky enough to have a mentor that can teach you and work with you on these tools, or if you get connected with some organization that provides you with workable tools to overcome the barriers and troubles of life, you have struck gold.
Mm.
So, uh, I reach out as much as I can every single day, both whether it's doing a webinar or live workshops. I put myself in front of people nonstop. Last month, I trained 3,048 people.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that and it's really not enough. Therefore
No?
establish and therefore I established groups. And
Mm.
establishing groups would be the next phase of leadership. Well, you have your own company and you might make it. 80% of the companies fail. Startup companies fail in the first 2 years in the US. Many
Mm.
startup companies invest money and they fail. And it's true by families. You start a family and somehow things don't go right.
Mm.
And the family falls apart. Again, in the US, 50% divorce rate. You have a lot of these things internationally.
Mm.
And to be able to have a successful marriage, have a really workable, successful family that's
Mm.
doing well, and everybody's succeeding mentally, spiritually, emotionally,
Incredible.
and
Mm.
educationally. Uh, and then you go out further, and you start a company, or you work with groups, church groups and religious groups and community groups and Lions Club and this thing and that thing. Government, working with government would be a fantastic way to have an impact, an influence. But again, if you don't have tools that work, how are you going to teach anybody to fix a flat tire if you've never properly fixed one? If every
Mm.
flat tire you've ever tried to fix didn't work, there's no way you're going to be fixing anybody else's flat tire.
No, but
And
that's true.
same thing with marriage.
Mm.
If you have a really, really successful marriage and you have tools for making that work, you could do marriage counseling, or you could be in that area, or working with children if you've done very, very well with children, which are very challenging. I have 4 children, and I'm telling you, it's intensely challenging. And you have to have tools for the much more. You buy your iPhone or your Galaxy or whatever, and you comes in a box, and you open up this gorgeous box, and you pay a lot of money. You open up the gorgeous box and you pull out your phone and it just walks you through it. Hello, which language, what's your name? And you just walk through it. But it
Mm.
does come with a tremendously thick manual. Nobody reads the manual. Believe me, I've been
No.
surveying people. No one reads the manual. Nobody.
Mm.
Nobody I have ever surveyed has read that damn manual. So now, if you did read the manual, you would find out that if you tap the back of your phone a certain way, your
Mm.
phone, the flashlight will turn on.
Oh, so I didn't even
No,
know that.
I never knew that. If you do certain things, they're
Mm.
called applications. If you know more, about the people that created the iPhone and all the little parts of it. See, that's daunting. That manual is
Mm.
what's called daunting, hard to face. It's hard to confront, to look at,
Mm.
because there's so many words and pages. I just want to use my phone now. I don't
Yeah.
want to learn. I don't want to go to, I'm not an engineer scientist. I don't want to read the circuits
Mm.
so
But then we can't do that
therefore,
with life, can we? There's no
and in
fostering.
life, if life is too complex, and many times it is, why do I have these negative thoughts? Why do I hurt my wife? Why do I beat my child? Whatever it is that's going on, why do I drinking all the time? I can't seem to get rid of these negative emotions, so I
Mm.
drink a couple glasses of wine every night to chill out. Well, the moral of that is, when you have workable, meaning they're effective,
Mm.
tools for any area of life,
Mm.
you become the doctor of your own life. You become the repairer, person who repairs things, and maybe even knowing enough to predict what would happen in the area. You know for a fact, if you get seeds for tomatoes and cucumbers and different things, and you plant them the way you're supposed to plant them, maybe not under shade, or maybe exposed to sunlight. And
Mm.
I never even knew this. Roses require 5 gallons of water every day.
Oh, wow.
Who knew? Who knew that? If you didn't know that, your roses would never survive. You
Mm.
have to understand more than just looking at the phone and
Mm.
going, Siri, work. Turn on, Siri. Turn on. Start my car. Fix my tire, Siri. Fix my tire. I want casserole for dinner, Siri. Get busy.
Make it.
Um,
Mm.
so in life,
Mm.
the more you have answers or things that work, knowledge that works, the more. It's not just memorization knowledge. I'm talking about application knowledge. A little
Mm.
bit different. I can sew a button.
Mm.
Now, I can't sew a button. I mean, I guess I could if I had to. If I was on an island by myself, I would figure it out. I might poke myself with the needle a few times, or do it wrong and have the button not open or something. But the more you are trained
Mm.
with proper or workable knowledge, you can overcome any barrier. And the
Mm.
purpose of life, interestingly enough, people ask that question. They love that question, by the way. Where did
It's
I
the
come
biggest
from?
question
How
in
did I
life.
get here? And where am I going? What
Yeah.
is the purpose of my life?
What
They
happens
love that
after?
question. Well,
Mm.
I'm going to give you a little teaser. I'm
Mm.
going to give you a little piece of information right now. The purpose of life. Don't do it, Mr. Cary. Don't do it. I am
I'll
going to
do
do it.
it, do it,
The,
do
pur-
it.
the purpose of life
Mm.
is to have an effect on the environment, to produce an effect. A
Mm.
dead person, even a dead person, is still producing an effect.
Yeah, they
People are
become worms.
looking, going, "Oh my God!" But even
Food
as
for the
an
worms.
artist, as an
Mm.
artist, you paint the side of a building, or you paint a painting, or you make a. My daughter got involved with sneaker art. She would take people's sneakers and make this really cool design. And
Wow.
I was like, wow, that is like brilliant. Sneaker art.
Mm.
Start your own business.
Yeah.
But she would do each of her friends' sneakers, she would do a different design. And it was the most creative, wonderful thing. It's the creation of
Mm.
an effect. And
Mm.
will life will pose problems for its own solution, so
Mm.
it's not bored. The worst condition a person can be in is in space with nothing to do. It's called boredom.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
worst condition you could be in is nothing to do. You look at children who don't have anything to do, start whining. You look
Mm.
at the person who's completely bored with no challenge, no adventure, nothing to overcome, is their morale, or their morale is a word you could look up if you're not sure, but you have
Oh,
high morale when you
Mm.
get things done. Have you ever cleaned a garage and you just felt so good
Yeah,
about
you feel
yourself?
good. Yeah. When you overcome
When
a
you
challenge,
accomplish,
you feel fantastic, and it does lift your morale very much.
yeah. So it's a demonstration of
Mm.
competence, a demonstration of the power, ability, and application of the individual
Mm.
that raises their their emotion for one, but it also gets a person more causative over life. But a
Mm.
person will create these problems. If a person doesn't have any problems, like the wealthy, the idle rich, as you've heard
Do they
about that, the
really not
people
have
who have so
problems?
much money that they just sit
They
around
they have
at
rich people
the
problems.
pool. Yeah, they sit around a pool and then they go
Mm.
wax their eyebrows or whatever they do, whatever people
Yeah,
do
their
that have
problems would be
millions of
something like, oh,
dollars.
a bird shot on my yacht, you know? That's a rich people problem. But
But
yeah,
these
so
people die. These
mm,
people die faster because they don't have a purpose. They don't have something to drive them. We have to create that challenge within ourselves. And the best way one could do that, first of all, by the way, is discover their purpose. Sorry about that. Discover their purpose somehow, and there's ways to do that. It's said that a 3-year-old knows their purpose in life.
wow.
And you know what your purpose is and work on that, and you'll find that a person comes more alive. I've brought people back from the dead
Wow.
by rekindling or bringing to life or lighting a fire under their purpose. Meaning, when a person's purpose is blunted, too many problems, and they're not overcoming those problems step by step, and they're building up more and more barriers
Mm.
around them on the 8 different areas of life, which we've not discussed. Then they feel their purpose is blunted or stopped, and they start dying. They
Mm.
actually start dying. They head towards death.
Mm.
And you'll see people dying faster with no purpose, nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, or they've given up on their purpose and they're in what's called apathy. Apathy is a word which means it's kind of like hopeless, or
Mm.
the person's usually looking down all the time. Their eyes are down, and they've just kind of given up. Oh, it doesn't matter. And you listen to the words they say, and that'll tell you everything. Oh, it's
Mm.
no use. It doesn't matter.
They seem to hate life.
I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to make it.
Mm.
And you have, as a person builds up what's called losses
Mm.
or too much barriers towards accomplishing their goals, too many losses, they start dropping down emotionally towards apathy. And
Mm.
this happens over a period of a lifetime. It happens in a short amount of time or a long amount of time. But anyway, let you be the interview.
No, this is perfect because my role is to ask the questions. Your role is to do the talking. So, Dr. Cary, I know you are so profoundly knowledgeable, and your work does span quite a few years. But what would you say are the biggest challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them in your career?
Wow, another great question. Well, you have challenges happening in each of the different parts of life. Physical challenges.
Mm.
I've actually done really well. I grew up as an athlete, so I played a lot of
Oh,
sports growing up.
you just keep on
I
coming with
ended
the
up
surprises.
I, like I played about 5 sports pretty well, and that was a nice beginning. Part of my motivation for playing sports is my home growing up was a hellhole.
Wow.
It was traumatic and very, very painful. So I would get myself out of the house at every possible moment. So I played hockey, football, baseball, basketball, tennis,
Wow.
ping pong, any sport I could get my hands on. But I love sports. I love competition, and it does definitely wakes you up and and makes a person really challenge yourself. And I'm a very competitive person. I love to win. In fact, now I won't play a game unless I know I'm going to win.
Wow. I'd love to watch
I,
you play.
I won't do
I'll be
something.
cheering you on.
I won't even a lecture. I won't do a lecture unless I know I'm going to win. Like I have things you can work it out business wise, relationship wise, personally to predict what will happen. If you have enough information, you can almost predict what will happen. When I play a game or an activity, I do everything I can to win at it. And when I'm not half in, half out, like sitting on a fence, I don't just say, oh, maybe I might do that, I might not do that. That makes somebody very unreliable, and their
Mm,
life tends to be wishy-washy or a big maybe.
mm,
Sitting on a fence is a horrible way to go. And indecision comes from various factors in one's life. Unable to decide comes from things that are in a person's life that can be handled, corrected, so a person is decisive. And there are drills and exercises that enable a person or help a person to be decisive so that your actions count. There's not like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if I should be friends with that. I don't know if I should marry that person. I don't know if I don't know if I should get that job as the boss. I'm not sure if I like him. I don't know,
So
if that's what I really want to do.
how do you help people become decisive? And also, how can people reach out to you if they wanted to join perhaps one of your sessions?
Well, I invite anybody can come to my webinars. They're wide open. They're free. And I do 3 a week, 3 or 4. How many do I do? I do at least 3 a week. Um, they can email me or WhatsApp.
Okay. And just tell us your email
WhatsApp,
address.
email CARYBG, the number 3 at gmail.com.
Okay. This is for the viewers so that they know how they can reach you if they wanted to join your sessions. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And I will also put the email address in the description box after we share the video. So Dr.
thank you.
Cary, I know you are an extremely passionate person, and you have such vast international experience. What are some innovative ways that educators can incorporate cross-cultural understanding into their curriculum to prepare students for globalized world? Because we're living in a time where we are on a global platform, whether we know it or not. Social media and even the news, everything is always online now. So much digital, well, so much AI and digital life happening around us. So how can people innovate themselves in this instance?
Great. Another amazing question. Um, I suppose you, me, all of us look for information that can help us to understand what's happening.
Mm,
You even use the word truth. Many of us look for truth within a sea of lies or not even just lies. You have a sea of information.
mm,
You look for things that in that sea of information, especially now with the internet, you are smothered by sources of information. And
mm,
so where do you go to enhance your own capabilities and
mm.
understanding of different parts of life? And I didn't answer your question yet, by the way. But that would be true for any educator, including parents. Parents are educators. Parents probably should have more training than anybody in terms of when you're raising your children, you're an educator, you're also a counselor. You have to listen to the children. You should have good communication. You should understand their issues that they're going through, some of the mental issues that they go through. They're going to school, they're being bullied, somebody's doing something bad. How can the child who can't even talk to their parents tell you what's going on so you can help them fix it?
Wow, that
So
was super
the
fast.
challenge, the challenge of just helping your child. Let's not even talk about teachers. Teachers are like even more challenged. Kids, you got 2, 3, 4 kids. How many ever kids you got? And you have them so much time. You have them, and then you turn them over to teachers. And then the teachers are stuck in an education system that may or may not be making our students better or worse. And you can always tell if you have a good education system if the students on the other side of your classes and your education program are brighter, more intelligent, more capable, more competent, happier, more effective, better people. If that's what's coming out at the other end of the education system, it's a fantastic education system that produces professional people who are ready to face life. But if those kids are going out in the world and failing in any and every way you can think of, then our education system has failed us. And sooner or later, that society will not survive when faced with the challenges and the demands that they are surrounded by.
That's right. So
and
what would you recommend as some innovative ways that they can incorporate then with the cross-cultural understanding?
Well, I mean, especially for a teacher or a parent or even a government person or somebody who has influence over an education system, which we've worked with many governments from Nigeria to Brazil, from Sri Lanka. I just came back from Sri Lanka. I trained 12,000 teachers. I worked with every Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health. When you have people in leadership positions that understand that we need to make things better, that this is not good enough, then the door opens for new technology, new tools, new knowledge. And, you know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to upgrade education. They're still teaching the same way as the 1800s. Okay, there is something wrong with education in that 70% of the world cannot read and write their language. They cannot read and write, 70%. Now, in the U.S., most of the kids graduating, which has been tested, have a 9th or lower vocabulary. That means they cannot read very well.
That is appalling.
So you have high school graduates. Education has come down so bad. It's one in the U.S. that you have less capable, competent people as years go by. So if we're interested in upgrading education, making it better for one and all of our students. I mean, there's many homeschooling organizations, there's religious schools, there's all kinds of ways you can educate and prepare young people. And my specialty is life skills. Well, I've trained now since the pandemic almost 2 million teachers in 30 countries.
Wow.
So that effort, whether it's working with Pakistan Ministry of Education, we got approval to train 2 million, Nepal, same thing. Depends on the country. When you have a leadership that knows things could be better and they care for the people, which there are many like that. We went to Sudan. We did great things in Sudan. We went to Nigeria, went to Brazil, a lot of interested leaders, a lot. It's like training the trainers, not the blind leading the blind. You can't improve something if you don't have the tools. You can't stop violence and drugs and trafficking if you have no tools. So we look out into this playing field. We look out into the world around us. And you know what you know, you see what you see, and the statistics will reflect that. And now you go, what do we do about our community? There's gang members, there's child pregnancy, there's various things happening. Even human rights violation. In India, men are selling their wives. It should just never happen. It should never, ever, ever, ever happen. So we've been partnering with the human rights group in Calcutta, and they're going all over the place promoting what's called Youth for Human Rights, which is a nonprofit organization called youthforhumanrights.org. And they have videos and free books and free classroom lesson planning and bringing human rights to the students of the world. Again, this is just one example. We have a drug education program that's the best in the world. that teaches people about marijuana, alcohol at whatever literacy or level of understanding they're at. We have a lesson planning, videos, and books for that level, for every
Wow.
single drug, heroin, alcohol. And what happens is if people really understand
Mm,
what they're putting in their bodies,
mm,
what they're being faced with, the decisions they're making,
mm.
they will do better for themselves and their friends and family. They will do a lot better. And that's why we're teaching the Good Choices program internationally, now in 16 languages. 40 translations are in progress. Hebrew and Arabic are about to be launched on our Good Choices program. Free ebook, goodchoicesebook.org. Free ebook, send it to yourself. It's a totally free, actually, it's a free program. So we
Dr.
want.
Cary, just to be
Sorry.
mindful of time, what we'll do is we'll put all the links on how they can find these programs in the description box when we share the video. But we are running out of time. So we just need to round up. But I must say, there is so much wealth of knowledge in you that I could sit here and listen to you all day long, honestly. But we're gonna be mindful of our listeners as well. They won't always have all the time as much as I'd like to. So we'll just give it a wrap. So like I said, it's been absolutely incredible. And today we have been privileged to sit here at the feet of a true pioneer, Dr. Cary. You have not only shared knowledge, but you have shared insight into a deeper understanding of what it means to be a leader in education, in service, and in impact as well. Your wisdom, Dr. Cary, really does remind us that that leadership is not about us. It's not about titles. It's about the impact that we have, the lives that we touch, the minds that we shape, and the legacy that we build. So as we leave this space, let's carry forward the lessons that we have learned today. Let's lead with courage, educate with purpose, and pioneer with vision, just as Dr. Cary has done for 44 years and counting. And so to Dr. Cary, we say thank you for your dedication, your leadership, and
Thank you.
your reminder to us all that the future of education and indeed the future of leadership is limitless. And to each of you here that have been watching this, remember the world is waiting for the impact only you can make. So let's go out and be the leaders we are called to be. Until next time, stay bold, stay limitless, and keep leading with heart. Cheerio. So let me just press